President of the Board of Aldermen, Lyle Baker, gave up his regular update of the Aldermen's meetings to Alderman Linsky and former board member Leslie Berg. Recently, Newton Dialogues on Peace and War asked the Board of Aldermen to pass a resolution to immediately withdraw troops from Iraq. This resolution is similar to what 300 other communities have done across the nation. Here is this week's Aldermanic Update.
We also have a special opportunity to welcome some citizens to the City Hall chambers who have been working very hard to try to achieve peace in a very important part of the country. And I want to introduce my colleague, Alderman Steve Linsky, Chairman of the Public Safety Committee, who will in turn introduce others as part of the resolution that the Board of Aldermen passed relating to Iraq. Steve?
Thank you, President Baker. I'm very pleased that the board approved the resolution by a vote of 20-4 at our last meeting, and I want to introduce Alderman Leslie Berg, who at the time when she served on the board co-sponsored this resolution with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I'm actually going to use the podium. These are just a few words about the resolution, and I think I'll just read it. As a docketer last year with Alderman Steve Linsky at the behest of Newton Dialogues on Peace and War, I'm very pleased that Newton, through the Board of Aldermen and the Mayor, has chosen to join over 300 communities across the country in requesting a withdrawal of our troops from Iraq. It is also appropriate that we have included language recognizing the need to mandate comprehensive health care for our returning veterans. I want to thank Alderman Merrill for requesting this addition to our resolution. In the history of a country, certain events occur of such significance that, in the words of Arthur Miller, attention must be paid. The war in Iraq is such an event. Entered into on a lie, carefully fed and nurtured by the Bush administration, whose objectives are very different from what has been publicly stated, it has cost the lives of thousands of American troops and hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqis. Perhaps even more painful to contemplate are the tens of thousands of young American men and women who have been severely wounded during their service and who are returning home, but will never be entirely whole again. It has cost us billions of dollars already and is currently costing us between $9 and $12 billion a month. Meanwhile, municipalities across our country are struggling to fund their schools, repair crumbling infrastructure, deal with rising health care costs, and meet the general needs of their citizens as well as the needs of those who require our care. People often do not connect the dots, but the fact is that as long as we are sending billions of American tax dollars over there, we will not have the means to care for our own needs here at home. There is a time to stand up and be counted, and that time has surely arrived. We thank everyone involved in this resolution's development and passage. While a resolution on a war in a far-off foreign land is not the usual purview of Newton City government, it is appropriate that we have taken a clear and just position on our need to disengage from this war, and that indeed attention has been paid. Thank you. And now Dan Shaw would like to say a few words.
Thank you.
Speaking for Newton Dialogues, and with, I think, a bit of hubris for the city of Newton and its citizens, I would like to extend our thanks to the Board of Aldermen, in particular to Leslie Berg, Alderman, and Steve Linsky, Alderman, for bringing this forward, for doing it with such speed and alacrity, and to thank the Board of Aldermen as a whole, and particularly Alderman Merrill for the additions that he made. I think that this resolution is unique. It's unique in that though there are hundreds of other resolutions through the country, most of them focus primarily on the economic consequences of the war. This one shifts the conversation not only to what is the economic problems that communities face because of the war, but also the social, psychological, and the problems of dealing with people with physical disabilities who return from the war. So this is a very important resolution, and we'll be working to get it out to the people who it is aimed at.